I'm Caitlin. I'm the talent acquisition manager at Lunio. I sit within the people team, so I have a lot of involvement in employer branding, our journey, our culture, social events, what we're doing right, and what areas we can improve, really, and how we do improve.
Given your role, I really get a sense that you like got your finger on a pulse. Maybe that's a crappy expression, but like you really get the culture at Lunio. To the culture of a company and the experience of the people is so dependent on the type of company and the size of company and where the company is. So could you, for those that don't know, could you tell us a bit about Lunio?
Yeah, of course. So Lunio is a MarTech tool operating within the SaaS space. So essentially what we do is we get rid of any invalid traffic on your ads. Ads can be on Google, LinkedIn, the whole Meta platform. The list goes on. We cover, I think it's 26 platforms in total. And we get rid of those nasty bots that are costing you money and just completely depleting your ad spend. We're based in central Manchester. That's where our HQ is. We have also opened a London hub, which was just late last year. And yeah, everything's going really well. Headcount is at 68 people now. We completed our Series A last September of 15 million. Biggest in our space, so we are smashing it. And yeah, everything's just going really, really well. We've got some really exciting stuff coming up within the next kind of 6 to 12 months. Some stuff I can say, some stuff I can't, but we are heading in the right direction.
We're going to get into some of those examples, the ones that we can. So you mentioned that you've got your Manchester HQ and you've recently opened the London hub. Something that all companies are working on is their approach to hybrid working and flexibility more broadly than that. It would be really cool if you could share the Lunio approach to that.
Yeah, absolutely. So for our engineering team, they are remote first, so they can work anywhere, and they can use the office space as much or as little as they would like to as well. The option is completely theirs. For everybody else, we have a hybrid working policy, so we do 2 days in the office and the rest from home. We have flexible hours within that as well, so you can start as early as you like, as long as you're around for our core hours, which are kind of like 10 till 3. That's kind of where we try to do most meetings, get more face-to-face interaction for people being in the office. There's so much flexibility with that though. Like, I think a flexible culture is, to one business it's something, to another business it means something else. Here it is every identity of the word flexible. So I have everything in my calendar, from school runs to swimming lessons to doctor's appointments to my blooming food shop that I like to do, or and literally you can put anything in there as long as you're around and you get your work done. Like, we reward people that are hardworking in the right way, and it is just giving people that autonomy to do their job. As long as results come out the other end, that's all we're cared about.
It's really refreshing to hear. Super interesting about engineering, remote first, and the rest of the organization more hybrid, because that's one of the things some companies think about. It's like, should things vary? And a one size fits all doesn't often work. Like, a one size fits no one. You mentioned 2 days for the hybrid, like around 2 days in the office, 2 days not in the office. So that's 4 days. What about the other one?
Yeah, we're trialing a 4-day week at the minute. We are so fortunate. We have an incredible head of people who initiated the idea, so I cannot take credit. It is all Beth. She's fantastic.
Shout out to Beth.
Shout out to Beth. She has foreseen the project from kicking it off, presenting it to our founders, all the way through, and really helping teams ensure that the trial can be as positive as possible. So how we are measuring that is we have done it in a staggered process. So we started off with a third of the company doing it, and then another third doing it in June, and then we have everyone else will start it on the 1st of August, so next week. And yeah, so far it's going really, really well. There has been nothing but positive feedback, as you can imagine, but there are some challenges with it, and it is like, what do we do on Friday if a support request comes through? How do we handle that? We need to make sure that we are still being present for our customers. So there are things that we have had to put in place to make sure that it doesn't kind of deter from our usual practice. But everyone's really invested in it, and so far it's going really, really well.
How does, for the staggered approach, how did people who were not first feel when their colleagues were having one day less for the same pay? Is it just the sense that we're all in this together, and like they're really supportive and happy knowing that if it works then it will happen for them? Or what was the sentiment like?
Yeah, you know what? It's been absolutely fine. Like, I wasn't in the first round of the trial either, but it was just like making sure that you did everything to be prepared for when your part of the trial did start, and just being really interested in what your colleagues were saying about what was going well for them, what they was doing with their Fridays now that they've got this free time, and it just kind of geared you up. And I think that's just the kind of culture we have to a T. Like, we just get so excited about things. Like, we don't waste time and energy complaining about something. Instead, we celebrate it. So everyone's just been like really looking forward to it.
That's such a good spirit that I think we could probably apply to the rest of our lives as well.
Absolutely.
Another thing that really stood out to me is that you've got a budget for mental health and well-being. Could you share like some of the ways that people actually use that?
Yeah, of course. It's probably one of our most used benefits, to be honest. It's really, really popular. So we have £500 per year, renews every year, that we can use on anything that's going to help us be the best version of ourselves, essentially. So anything that's going to contribute to your well-being. So last year I used mine on a spa day. I had every treatment going. It was fantastic. And it was just a really nice way to reward myself for my hard work, but then also like reset, recharge, and then get back to it. So it's really nice, and it's something that everyone should invest in. But with the cost of living crisis, that there's always kind of like, I could spend this money elsewhere. So the fact that Lunio is able to provide that for you is just crucial in these times. This year I'm probably going to spend it on something a little bit different, and spend mine on something called Supply Life, which is like a food intolerance test. So as well as it being like a really nice thing to go on a spa day, it's also like helping me now actually get a better quality of life. So it's super important. People use it for loads of different things. I know people have used it on like dental work before. Some people use it on their gym membership, PT sessions, like yoga classes. You can use it for therapy if that's something that you feel like you need access to. So yeah, there's so many different ways you can use it, but it's a fantastic benefit. And for businesses that don't have it, I would really recommend it.
I really like the way you described it in terms of that money. If it was given you as money, like people, there's always something else to spend it on, and you might feel as though, oh, I should be spending it on something else. Whereas it's almost like when the company does it, it provides a boundary set by someone else, like this constraint around, yeah, but this is adding something to your life, like this dimension that we think could be valuable, but you decide in what way it's valuable to you that you wouldn't otherwise do. So it's like, okay, we offer you money, we offer you this, we offer you that, and we offer you this. So it's like just another like bit to someone's life that the company is adding, that companies that don't offer it, they don't bring that extra bit to someone's life necessarily.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, any spare bit of money I have, like, I have 2 children, so it just goes on them. Just like mum guilt, I'm always like, what can I buy them? Because you just always want to give them as much as you can. So I think if Lunio was to give me the monetary value of that benefit, I would spend it on my kids. And whilst that's great, to be the best parent that you possibly can, you do need to kind of invest in yourself as well. So I completely agree. Like, it's almost like setting that boundary. and yeah, it's such a fantastic benefit.
Yeah. Um, so that's like well-being of people. There was something I spotted as well that is about the well-being of your company. So it says that you do carbon offsetting. Can you kind of just at a high level share what does that mean?
Yeah, so we're partnered with a business called Ecology. They are a fantastic business. I would recommend checking them out. They're really, really cool. I think they've just gone through like a round of funding as well. Yeah, really, really cool company. So they plant trees on our behalf, and they plant trees for every employee that we have as well. So we have loads of different trees all over the world in like Mozambique, different parts of Kenya, to name a few, Tanzania. I think we're on like 20,000 plus trees now. Like it's getting pretty big. So yeah, it's a really proud thing to be part of a bigger journey.
So I really like the way that you mirror like well-being for individuals and also well-being for the planet. So you've shared some really specific ways that you are intentional and really thoughtful about the culture and the people experience. If someone's watching or listening, what advice would you offer them as they're going about trying to do it for their company?
So the first bit of advice I would offer is to ask your workforce what they deem as being a priority, and it may vary depending on the department. What might matter to your marketing team might not essentially matter to your engineering team. So it's just getting a really clear picture of what is important to them. What are you currently doing well, and how can you kind of maximize on that? And then the areas that you need to improve. So I would send a survey out to everybody. They can complete it anonymously, give them that option so that you do really get some honest feedback. And then we just, yeah, really kind of listened and took it on board and sat down with our founders and figured out what was feasible and what we could offer. And as well, one thing that we take into consideration at Lunio is if we don't have a good enough reason to say no, then it has to be a yes. We have to at least try it. So that's what we did with the 4-day week. We didn't have a good enough reason to say, no, this can't work when we hadn't even trialed it. So it's all about, trial and error really, and just seeing. So that would be the advice that I would give. Definitely just try it and listen.
It's so helpful to have that quite is a structured approach to asking, listening, look at what you're doing well, look at the gaps. And I love the idea that if there's not a good enough reason to not do something, then try it and see what happens, because that puts the bias towards progression and iteration and innovating rather than being stagnant and having the status quo. So that's such a powerful insight into your culture.
Thank you.
If somebody wants to follow more about the work that you do at Lunio and how you continue to evolve your culture, is there a way people can do that?
Yeah, definitely. Please connect with me on LinkedIn. It's Caitlin Ingham. And then follow our Glassdoor. There's some really good reviews on there. There's also some that, show complete honesty about where we can improve as well. Like these are just completely honest reviews. And then also follow us on LinkedIn on the Lunio page. We showcase a lot of like our social events and stuff on there, which is pretty cool. And then we're going to revamp our careers page relatively soon. So watch this space. Hopefully should be done by the end of Q4. So yeah.